This week, you're going to be bringing everything together that you've been learning for the last 4 weeks. And we're still going to talk about animals, but we're going to go into more of a specific conservation. And what I'd like you to do this week to start is you're going to log into Discovery Education, and again, make sure that's the Waukesha Discovery Education website. Your username should be your school username, and your password would be your student ID, which is 6 digits long. You're going to watch this video. It's another Planet Earth video, and it's called The Future Saving Species. Then after that, I want you to create a Google document that's titled Conservation, and you're going to go to the Alaska Sea Life Center. And this is going to be a specific conservation site that's going to be very specific to Alaskan animals. So those will be polar bears, harbor seals, ring seals, and then there are many different types of birds. And as you can see, you can take the drop down for each of those. After you go there, you're going to select one animal, and you're going to write a paragraph on why conservation is so incredibly important. And this should be about a 10-sentence paragraph or longer. You can definitely make it longer, but make sure you answer these couple of questions within this paragraph. And with that, it's why is it so important that we save your animal, so the one that you selected? Why is your animal in need of saving? So even if they're not endangered species, there's still reasons that we want to save animals, and that could have to do with the habitat, or that could have to do with the animal itself, or its families, or its mating cycle. And then lastly, any other important information that will help us understand the importance of saving your animal's habitat. So make sure that you're thinking about the conservation of this animal and why it's so important that we conserve its life and its life cycle and its habitat. As you do this, make sure that you're thinking about the animal that you chose along with its habitat. For your writing connection for this week, you are going to be writing two different things. First of all, you're going to be looking into writing your introduction, and your introduction should include three different things. It should include an attention grabber, which is usually going to be a fun fact, a story, or some statistical data that's very interesting and really grabs the attention of the reader. You'll also include an overview or synopsis of what you'll be writing about. So you'll just simply list the topics, which will be the three different sections. And then lastly, what I would refer to as a thesis. A true thesis is going to be much more complex, but I'd like us to use the term thesis so we're familiar with it. But the thesis is going to be the statement of why you think it's so important to practice animal and land conservation. So this is going to be an actual opinion. So I believe that animal and land conservation is so important because blank. Next, you're going to write your sentence on conservation. Make sure you're talking about conservation, but also relating it to your animal now. So the animal that you chose earlier in the unit, not the one you chose this week. And in your 15 or so sentence paragraph, make sure to include what conservation is, why conservation is so important for the habitat of your animal, why conservation is so important for the animal that you chose, and then give me some examples of things that we can do to help practice conservation for the animal that you chose. And again, this is the animal from earlier in the unit.